The story begins with Nancy, a sophisticated woman who takes good care of herself, arriving at a hotel room. Minutes later, a young man arrives, but before we start the movie, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated. The young man, named Leo, enters the room, and when Nancy opens the door, he tells her that he's there to spend a good time with her. Before they begin, he asks if he can drink some alcohol to get in the mood. He then asks her how she prefers to engage in a relationship, to which she replies that she doesn't care about the method, but she wants to feel happy and make up for the years she's lost. She also apologizes to him for her age and appearance, saying he must feel obligated to do this because of his job, but Leo kindly tells her she's beautiful and that this is part of his work. Nancy feels nervous and tells him they should start now before she changes her mind. Leo reassures her, saying he doesn't want her to feel anxious and suggests she talk to him about herself. She tells him that he is younger than her son, and she doesn't know how she ended up here. This is the first time she has been with someone other than her husband. She adds that she feels old and unsure of what to do. Nancy explains that she used to be a teacher, very strict with her students, and everyone was afraid of her. After her husband's death, she decided not to engage in any more relationships, believing her life was over. She tells him that he will be the second man she's ever been with, and she feels guilty and regretful. She asks him why he works in this field, as he's handsome and could have a respectable job. He explains that other jobs paid very little, but this one offers good money. Then, he tells her they've talked enough, and it's time for him to get to work. He holds her hand, but she asks him what he does if he's not satisfied with a client. He tells her that work is work and shares that he's been with women in their 80s, and feels happy when he sees them joyful. Leo begins to flirt with her, saying sweet things that make Nancy blush. She admits that she hasn't heard such compliments in a long time. She goes to change into something more comfortable and returns quickly. Meanwhile, Leo prepares himself, drinking whiskey and eating chocolate to get ready. Nancy, feeling anxious, talks to herself in the mirror, wondering how a respectable woman like her could do this. Then, she steps out and tells Leo she's changed her mind and doesn't want to go through with anything, saying she'll pay him the agreed amount without him needing to do anything. He asks why she called him in the first place if she didn't want to go through with it, and she responds that she acted impulsively and had crazy thoughts. But Leo doesn't believe her, saying he's sure she's thought about this many times. She admits that she's been thinking about it for weeks, months, and even years. Leo tells her that he's sure she has admirers because she's beautiful and doesn't look her age. She confesses that there are older men interested in her, but she prefers younger men. Leo then tells her he won't take her money because he hasn't done any work yet, and she's surprised by how classy and intelligent he is, telling him that this job doesn't suit smart people. Leo shares that he told his mother he works for an oil company because of how much money he makes, and Nancy laughs, unable to comprehend what he's saying. She talks about her daughter, mentioning that they don't get along and frequently argue over trivial matters. Leo changes the subject by asking about her marriage, and she tells him her husband always changed his clothes, turned off the lights, and went to bed without paying any attention to her. Leo asks if she wants to proceed with their engagement now, but before we continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. At that moment, Leo seizes the opportunity and initiates a relationship with her. A few days later, they meet again, and Leo is surprised that Nancy has hired him once more. She says she was very happy with him last time and feels like she's in love. She's even prepared a list of strange and unusual things she wants to do with him. Leo tells her he'll do anything she wants because satisfying the client is his priority. She admits she's never tried any of the things on her list, and is afraid of the high costs. Leo reassures her, telling her not to worry and that she needs to think differently. However, she reveals that she has negative thoughts and doesn't fully trust him, feeling like he's just flattering her. Nancy's daughter calls with a problem, which makes Nancy even more anxious. Leo notices her attention, so he plays music and dances with her to make her feel better. After a while, Nancy tells Leo she doesn't want to continue because she's too worried about her daughter. Her daughter calls again, and Leo tells her not to answer. To relax her, Leo gives her a massage. Nancy then asks Leo to change his clothes in front of her, and she approaches him flirtatiously but immediately apologizes, feeling afraid that she acted too boldly. She tells him she's never touched or behaved that way with anyone before. Leo encourages her to have confidence in herself, because she's a beautiful woman that any man would be lucky to be with. Nancy confesses that she wants to feel young again, full of strength and power. Leo asks if she wants to talk to someone who will listen and understand her feelings, telling her that he's heard similar things before. He explains that part of his job is talking to women, learning about their problems, and trying to help them solve them. After their conversation, they become intimate. Several days later, they meet for the third time. Nancy begins telling Leo that she's grown attached to him, thinks he's kind, and is glad to have met him. She wants to know more about him, asking about his daily routine and how he spends his time alone. Leo, feeling irritated, tells her he doesn't discuss his personal life at work, and that his private life is off limits. However, Nancy tells him she has fallen for him, done some research, and found out his real name is Noor. Leo responds by saying she has crossed a line, and that he won't be working with her again. She tells him that she thought they had built trust and become friends. Leo accuses her of spying on him and says he only does his job, listens to her problems, and keeps them confidential. At that moment, Nancy threatens to tell his mother about his job if he doesn't agree to see her again. Leo, emotionally shaken, reveals that his mother left him when he was 15, and he's been alone ever since. He starts to cry, telling her that he truly cared for her, but that she broke the trust between them by discovering personal information about him. He also apologizes for speaking harshly, and says he'll return the money he took from her during their next meeting. He then leaves. Days later, Nancy is sitting in the hotel restaurant waiting for Leo. She meets a waitress who tells her she was once Nancy's student, and learned discipline and good manners from her. The waitress apologizes for being just a server, feeling she has nothing to show off in front of Nancy. At that moment, Leo arrives, but Nancy pretends he's there to buy her car because she's afraid the waitress will discover their relationship. Nancy then remembers that he might not meet her again, and apologizes for meddling in his personal life. She thanks him for helping her overcome her depression, and admits that being with him made her happy. She also reveals her real name is Susan, and he laughs, saying she's not the only one who lied. Susan tells Leo that she shared their relationship with her friends, and they've asked for his number to experience what she did. She says their relationship was the only adventure in her life, and she's become braver and stronger because of him. Just then, the waitress interrupts, saying Susan was a great teacher but very strict and harsh. Once, Susan gathered all the girls and scolded them for talking to boys. Leo feels proud to have known Susan and begins opening up about his personal life, telling her that his brother died in the war and his mother left him alone. He tells Susan that he saw his mother 2 years ago, but she pretended not to know him and walked away. Susan apologizes to the waitress for how she treated her and confesses that she's not the respectable teacher she thought she was, revealing Leo's real job and their relationship. Afterward, they go to do new things together, and when they reach the hotel room, they have one last intimate moment. Susan tells Leo that this will be their last meeting, because she feels it's wrong, and is happy to have known him. She advises him to focus on his life, find a girl his age, and get a respectable job that his children can be proud of. She decides that she won't do any more reckless things or entertain wild thoughts. Leo agrees with her advice and plans to look for a new job. And that brings us to the end of today's movie. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to stay updated and support us in posting more videos.